So, hello everybody, and welcome to this webinar. It is wonderful to be in circle with you all this evening. If you could let me know and confirm that you can hear the webinar okay by using the chat box, that would be great. We are in a time that of technology being a bit funny this month, so thank you. One of you is saying you can hear me faintly. Is that better? Brilliant. It's lovely to see people that I know and new faces listening to this live webinar. For those of you that have not met me before, my name is Katie. I am a channel and I do all sorts of energetic work with the earth and run all sorts of ceremonies, workshops, courses and journeys in the UK and also around the world. And I work almost consistently with the 5 elements. I don't think I have ever really done anything that doesn't bring them into my work at some point or another. And that is because, as you will discover, the 5 elements are absolutely essential to us, to our way of life, to our way of being. The 5 elements are, in fact, life itself. They create life on this planet. And working with them is something that goes back through the centuries and through every culture on the planet, because all of our ancient cultures acknowledged the life-giving power of the elements and the healing power of them and the transformational power of them. And so this is a webinar to give you an opportunity to just start tuning in to these amazing energies in our lives. Most of it will be an experiential webinar. Just so you know, somebody is asking about the video. This is a voice-only webinar to help you be more in the experience, because I believe spirituality is all about having an experience. You can't really know something is true until you experience it for yourself, and you can't find your own truth without experiencing it for yourself. And what Starlight does is it offers people experiences. It offers people a chance to have experiences. I love my webinars to be co-creational. So please, at any point, do type in, say hello, ask questions, and share all of the wonderful insights and experiences that you have during this webinar. I would like to begin with a very, very quick opening meditation, just so you can focus yourself, so that you can get the most out of this webinar. So when you're ready, just close your eyes and feel the muscles around your eyes relaxing as you feel your breath dropping into your belly with that instant relaxation. And with your eyes closed, just acknowledge the space inside of you. Notice how when you close your eyes, it's actually more spacious and endless, more conscious than when you have your eyes open. And we often do not give ourselves enough awake time with our eyes closed. When we are awake and our eyes are closed, we come into a state of being, a state of awareness that we don't have with our eyes open, and a state of trust. And just bring yourself here now as you breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. And from this quiet, silky, knowing, spacious place inside you, just open your heart to this webinar, trusting that you are exactly where you are meant to be for this moment of your soul's journey. And as you open your heart, experience those that are listening with you now and in the future opening their heart. And just feel this heart circle that you're in, that you're being held by, that you are sharing this moment of healing, this hour of healing, this hour of education, this hour of peaceful discovery with. And just choose to really be present, to be whole, to be curious for this hour, to gift yourself this hour without the distractions of that eye-open world. And notice how you're feeling. Notice if anything has shifted. In this moment, notice how you're doing. Some of you may be feeling a little bit emotional. The 5 elements of the soul work can be very, very emotional. So just notice whatever is, whatever has come up for you and is. As you breathe in love and breathe out gratitude, breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. And when you are ready, open your eyes and come back into the room, keeping that spaciousness, that focused, peaceful spaciousness that you had on the inside. And just notice how you feel with your eyes open. And if any of you would like to share, that would be wonderful. That's how you're feeling. I really felt you all. When we opened our hearts, I really felt all of you. And I have pulled a card for the group, and it's a beautiful card. It's grace. And really, that is one of the things that the elements teach us. All of them teach us in different ways how to gracefully express ourselves, how to gracefully carve our path, how to gracefully be true to ourselves and be in our power. And the elements have many, 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 many things to teach us. They are so old. They are life itself. They are our grandparents, our ancestors, our parents. They have brought the world into form, and they certainly keep human life alive on the planet. And I just want you to take a moment to just think about kind of the power that we're talking about here. You know, the elements give us life. They give everything to the planet. They work harmoniously with each other to create life. If you think how old the planet is, how old the sun is, think how old the atmosphere and the air on this planet is, and all of those oceans, how many billions of years these elements have been moving, have been shifting, have been traveling, have been forming and reforming and birthing and dying and creating. Quite phenomenal when you allow your mind to kind of go beyond the human timeline and just think about the miracle that is these elements coming together and working together to create not just human life, but so much life. And indeed death. To create so many cycles of life and death. And that's why it is so important to work with them. And it is so important to connect to them, because this isn't meditation work and spiritual work that is about connecting to spirit or something that is not of our dimension. This is connecting to the most pure and powerful forces and ancient forces of our dimension, of physical form, of our physical reality. They know more about life on earth than we can ever even imagine. They hold more wisdom, more understanding, more survival than we could ever even need. And we can access all of that wisdom, all of that power, all of that energy, all of that life force, and bring it into our lives. And this is why every ancient culture in the world, in one way or another, works with the element. Because they are everything. They are physical form. And the fact that we as a culture have lost touch with honoring and listening and working with and inviting and respecting those elements, I really believe is partly why life can feel so hard. Because we are not using these great forces that actually are good at everything physical and are good at everything we need in our lives. And we're not inviting them to help us and teach us. We're not inviting them to heal us in our culture. And anything that can help us live better is a good thing right now on the planet, because human beings are in serious crisis and we need to learn how to live well on this planet and live happily and live our paths on this planet. Thank you for all of the wonderful comments that are coming in. I'm very pleased that some of you are starting to feel more centered. And how interesting that one of you asked, do the elements have an age? Yes, everything eventually has a beginning, but the elements' age is beyond, I think, anything our brains can understand. You know, fire is possibly, the guidance I've had about it is fire is the oldest element, or maybe love is, if you're counting the fifth one. When was fire born? When was the first star in the universe born? You know, we're talking beyond billions and billions and billions of years, possibly infinity. Certainly in our minds, it's infinity. And thank you. Ronnie is asking which is the fifth. There are lots of different schools of thought about the 5 elements. For me, the fifth one is love, because love to me, is an elemental force. It's an elemental presence. It is an energy that moves and shifts and creates and causes, just as the other elements, the other four elements that we all know do. And one thing I want to share with you is guidance that I have had about this time, which is that this time on the planet is a very, very interesting time. We seem to be in a really deep transitional period at the moment, especially this winter. And this period is one of deep reflection, deep kind of change, and finding our paths and finding our direction, and also grieving and letting go of a lot of things. This is the guidance I have been getting. And part of how we are going to be doing it this winter is by coming into a place of yin, which is a very divine feminine energy. It is simply about allowing yourself to receive, coming into kind of pure surrender and acceptance and going deeper into that and being carried to where you need to be. And it's very, very powerful, but it can also create quite a lot of resistance. And that's why I think working with the elements at this time is so essential, because if you're going to come into that yin place, you need to connect to the energies of the earth, and you need to connect to something that is big enough, old enough, and that you trust enough to carry you to where you need to be. And so for the experiences I'm going to give you in this webinar, I want you to come into that yin place, to just allow it to be, to allow it to be perfect, to allow yourself to be carried. Use your imagination. You know, one of the ways that we connect to the elements is through our imagination, and especially when we're doing shamanic type work with the elements, it is through journeying, it is through dimensional channeling, it is through vision meditation that we get our answers. And where we change our life is by healing our consciousness. And our consciousness speaks imagination, and that's why this tool of our imagination is so powerful for our own self-healing. So I'm going to give you an experience now, and I just want you to relax into it, come into your yin, feel your eyes closing, and really come in to your yin breath, which is your out breath, focusing totally on your out breath and choosing to let your muscles just go, to let your muscles relax. Inviting with love in your heart, your imagination to take you on a journey, to take you to the part of your consciousness that you are here to feel, to take you to whatever it is you are here to find. And give yourself this moment with your imagination, this moment of communion. And as you become aware of the space that is inside you, of the deep peace and spaciousness that is inside of you, in this dark place of having your eyes closed, just see a path in front of you. And this is a golden path. And in your mind's eye, walk on this path now. And notice how this path is leading you through a forest. You can smell the pine on the air, and looking up from the path you can see millions and millions of stars, all of those ancient fires that light up the sky, and you can feel the earth underneath you. And you come to a clearing at the end of this path. And the moon is shining down on this clearing. And it's almost like you have arrived home. You have arrived at a part of yourself that is older and wiser than you. You have arrived in a soul landscape that is waiting for you. And in this clearing you see the stone markings of a medicine wheel. Circle of stones. And you feel called to walk around this medicine wheel. And just allow yourself to relax into this process, to come into the yin, to receive this journey. And as you walk around the medicine wheel, which is divided into 4 quarters, know that there is a quarter of this wheel that you need to enter. And when you find the section that is right for you, you step inside. And you sit down. And you feel yourself relaxing, feeling the ancient healing that is here. And you know this wheel from another time. And you feel the earth underneath you and the air on your face. And the fire shines in the stars and in the light of your eyes. And you can hear the water running through this landscape that you're in, birthing all of life as it goes. And you feel the immense amount of love that is here. And you look down at the earth in front of you and you see a picture forming in the wheel, in the section of the wheel that you are sitting in. And this is a picture of one of the elements. Just notice which one it is. Which one has come to you? Which one has called to you through this journey? And acknowledging the element that you have been called to, the element that has called to you, has reached you and met you in this wheel. By the law of chance, by you picking this section of the wheel. Hold your connection to it And when you are ready, just open your eyes and just type into the box, the chat box, which element you saw in that wheel. And part of you is still with this journey. So all is perfect. You will be there. We're going to return to that element. Oh, good. Some of you are already replying. We have a fire. I had water. We have an air. We have another water. Ice. Yes, ice is water. Ice is water. We have wind. Beautiful. Really beautiful, guys. And that is a very, very small example of how you meet the elements of your soul. It's an example of journeying meditation. And I don't know how many of you got an element that you expected, but I certainly didn't expect water, because generally, like, my go-to place as an element is fire. And so I'm always really surprised whenever I get another element. And when you get surprised, that's when you're really shifting through your consciousness and really transforming things in your consciousness. And your consciousness is starting to carry you, and the elements of your soul are starting to carry you in this most beautiful, poetic way out of your comfort zone. And I just want you to sit with your element for a moment. And just, yeah, some of you are saying, I thought I'd get water, I thought I'd get fire. Beautiful. And I just want you to sit with the elements that you had, the element that you picked. And some of you may want to stay in the wheel when you close your eyes, so close your eyes if you want to. And others of you may just want to invite the element to be here now, to be with you in the room now. And as you're sitting with this element, I just want you to open your heart and ask your heart, how can this element help me? Why has this element come to me in the medicine wheel? You know, the medicine wheel will always give us medicine. So what is the medicine of this element? And while you're listening to the element, I'm just going to tell you a very, very basic answer to this question. The elements create change. Every single one of the elements create change in different ways. So fire is maybe the most obvious one for creating change. It transforms now. And if you've received fire, it is about the celebration of change. It is about creating change in the now. You know, really allowing yourself to come into a baptism of fire, a baptism of change, and dance through it and come into your power with change. Fire is within us because it is our passion. It is our destiny. It is our dreams. We are of fire. We are children of the stars. And when fire comes to us in the medicine wheel, fire is telling us that it is time to find our paths, to change everything that is not our passions, to dance into the next cycle of our lives. Water creates change through movement, through flow. When she comes to us in the medicine wheel, she is saying you are stuck. You're not moving through change enough. You are not being adaptable enough. You are too in your emotions and not enough in your flow. And she teaches us to carve that path that fire calls for us and put it out into the world and send it out into the world and demand that the world bends and curves to it. Earth, and I don't know if anybody got Earth today, but Earth is the alchemist. She changes through recycling, through taking all that is old and converting it back into life force energy, into prana energy. She, at the beginning of change, is allowing the fall to come with the earth. So when she comes to us in the medicine wheel, she's saying, what needs to die in order to be born? What do you need to let go of? What skins and leaves do you need to shed? Sometimes she's also saying, what is in hiding? What have you buried so deep that it cannot receive the light and the water? Air changes through thought, fun enough. Air is the element of thought. It's the element of our stories. It is our breath. It is the movement of our spirit through physical form. And it's about freedom. Air teaches us to become free, to fly, to be liberated, to let go, to breathe. And when air comes to us in the medicine wheel, air is saying what needs to fly, what needs to breathe. Or it comes to us and tells us what stories need to be liberated, need to be given to the winds, what stories of our soul need to change direction. And so I just, having heard all of that, I just want you to tune in and ask yourself, what was that element telling me about what I need to change in my life? What was that element? Why was it coming to me? And how can I invite that element in to my life? And just breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. And just open your eyes and just see how you're feeling. It's going to answer some of the lovely things that you are saying. Yes, if you saw the planet Earth, it probably means the element of Earth is speaking to you, but you've got to feel that in your heart. And let me just see if there's any other questions coming through from all you beautiful ones. Oh, lovely. Renata felt the waterfall was washing away my struggle to support dear ones during difficult times. Yes, water will really cleanse you. It's so amazing. And Helen is experiencing wind that is about wind blowing away the ice. Yeah, one of the things that I do on the 5 Elements course that I'm going to be holding space for next month is really the elements on their own are very, very powerful, and we do a kind of isolated work with the elements. But actually, what is really amazing is when you start to work with the cycle of them, and when you start to gift the element other elements so that they can transform and move. One of the things we do on the course is as well as doing element empowerment work, is we do element shadow work, because on the course and what we're doing in this webinar now is we are soul landscaping with our elemental selves. So we are reaching the elements that are not outside of us in physical form, but that are inside inside of our soul, inside of our energy body. And I'm going to give you an example of this in a moment. And we can also do a huge amount of very beautiful shadow work when we soul landscape with the elements, because we can find the parts of ourselves that are being expressed through the elements as being stuck. So, for example, if you're soul landscaping and journeying and you come across a load of muddy water in your soul, you know, that is the shadow of water. When water can't move, when water is stuck, it gets muddy and it gets dirty and it becomes ill. And when you're looking at your life and yourself through this perspective of the elements, you're detached from the stories that cause you to be stuck, and you're essentially just seeing the expression of that shadow. And then it's like, well, how do I heal dirty water? And actually, when you're in the shadow of the elements, it's much better to bring in another element that can help that element move through the shadow. And this is really kind of ancient shamanic energy work that you do for yourself through the elements of your soul. And remember that ancient power we connected to, it just bursts through and heals that in your subconscious. And honestly, I cannot express to you, when you heal your subconscious, you heal your life. I have lived that time and time and time again, and I see many other people living that. When you heal your subconscious, the vibration in your life changes, and all of the problems in your life change. And so it is a very, very, very powerful way to work and create change in your life. So if you were seeing more than one element, that was just starting to happen naturally for you. I want to continue with our experience now. And so I would like you just to close your eyes again and just feel yourself coming back to this medicine wheel. And one of you was saying, I got ether, and that's fine. Ether, love, is in the center of the medicine wheel. It's the fifth element. And if you get that one, it's really a message that is saying you just need to send more love into your life. You know, love is the fifth element that we work on in the course, because it is actually how love changes is through evolution. It's the evolution of the universe. It's the thing that moves the whole of the universe. And when it comes to us in the medicine wheel, it is telling us that we need to love ourselves as we are, especially in a yin medicine wheel, that we need to love and accept all that we are. And that is the medicine that will transform, that will heal at the core of who we are. And so, with your eyes closed, just feel yourself in this yin state. Feel yourself inside this medicine wheel. And moving out of the section of the element that you're in, standing up inside the medicine wheel and walking towards the center, towards the ether. All healing journeys begin and end with love. So inviting yourself to come into this love now. I'm feeling a dragonfly come and be there with you. The dragonfly is the power symbol of this course. And just allow yourself to soak in the love that is here. And as you're feeling it, just know that this is the love that your soul has for you. It's not the love that anyone else or anything else has. And inside the medicine wheel, you turn and you face the water section in the medicine wheel, and you just instinctually know where it is. And as you face the water section in the medicine wheel, open your heart to water. And just ask to see the waters of your soul. And as you ask, you experience the landscape of the forest. And instead you see the waters of your soul. And just notice what you see, what you experience. Notice the type of waters that you see. Maybe it's waterfalls or oceans. See all of that incredible energy and power and ancientness that these waters have. And now turn and face the fire section in the medicine wheel. And open your heart to the fires of your soul. And see the landscape melt away as you see the fires of your soul. All of that transformational energy that your soul has. How is it being expressed to you in this moment? And you turn now to the air section of the wheel, opening your heart and seeing the winds of your soul, seeing how timeless and endless and free they are. As you turn to the earth of your soul, opening your heart and seeing the landscape melt away. And now you see the earth of your soul. Is it soil? Is it a jungle? Is it a new landscape? All that life, energy, all of that abundance that is there, all of that alchemy. And know that you are looking at yourself, that you are looking at your own soul in its elemental forms. So you look up to the stars now, opening your heart to the love of your soul. Feel the medicine wheel turning and feel all of these elements moving, spinning, merging into the love that is your soul. And just ask yourself, where can I invite these elements into my life now? And let your soul answer you. Feel it bursting into your heart, answering you. And while you're sitting in this spin of the elements of your soul, I just want you to become aware of the power that you have, of the knowledge that you have. Some of you may be actually experiencing the different temperatures as these elements move through you. So they're very, very temperature-based expressions. Understand the heat that you have, the coolness that you have, the sheer power and force and energy that you have inside your soul that you can invite to come through you into your life. And I just want you to acknowledge here that no matter what hurdles and problems and fears you have in your life, whatever consciousness you have that is blocking you from living the life that you want, the perfect life, I want you to experience how these elements are bigger, they are older, they are wiser, they are so much more powerful than anything that stands in your way. And this is why we need to meet them and speak with them and invite them into our lives, because they empower us when we discover those aspects of ourselves. And in this yin expression, just send your love out to all of these 5 elements, to this medicine wheel. Notice if you feel different as you breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. And when you're ready, open your eyes and come back into the room. Yes, some of you are crying. I'm having tears as well. It feels like there's such this big release of our limitations when we connect to the elements. And it's so real because, you know, the elements are outside of us and inside of us. So we can really deeply, deeply connect to so much of the earth and so much of ourselves all in one go. And it's a very, very sacred and beautiful journey to go on to work with the elements. And so I would love to know how you're all feeling, if you're feeling shifted. I'm certainly feeling very, very shifted. I'm going to end this webinar by telling you how you can start working with the elements. There's so many different ways that we can start inviting them into our lives and start working with them. And I'm going to give you a few of maybe the simpler ones and the easier ones for you to meditate on and think of. Wow, thank you, Neil, saying, wow, I saw meteors of fire, oceans of water, galaxies of love, the planet as a whole for Earth, and a tornado of wind. Never realized the power I have to overcome. I'm so happy for you. That's amazing. And Kath saying she's feeling very shifted, so much space and freedom. See, this is why this work excites me so much, because, you know, I like things that are easy so that we can get on with our lives. And if you can have these big shifts so quickly and so easily, then you have more time for fun and play in your life. And that's, I think, why I'm so excited about the 5 elements of the soul course, which is, honestly, if you want to come onto your path, if you want to create change in your life, if you just want to learn more about your soul and yourself, it's a really, really incredibly beautiful and cosmic journey where you're just held in the energy of the course and carried by the elements to everything that you are meant to find out, everything you're meant to know. We do all sorts of journeying and meditation. And there's also ceremony, which is really, they're channeled ceremonies that are optional that you can do in between the webinars, but they're just an amazing way to kind of engage your whole consciousness and to invite the elements to start working through you and working with you. The other thing is with Starlight courses, you know, you're held space by very high vibrational energies. So like the kind of master energies of the elements are holding space for this course, as well as the ancestral guides and shamanic guides and my higher self energy. And you're just cocooned for these 5 weeks. So much actually just happens for you. And it's kind of energetic subconscious work that just comes through you and happens for you as the elements are traveling and carrying with you, even when you sleep. And there's also a huge amount of magic and beauty that happens. Like synchronicity just goes nuts when people come into this kind of course energy circle and into this commitment to their own evolution, to the love of change. And it's so beautiful and it's inspiring, and the poetry that this kind of soul landscape work produces is just amazing, because you know, when you're in the midst of fire and you start speaking from the fire of your own soul, you really discover this incredible, amazing poetry of the self. And that in itself is so energizing and empowering. So it's a really beautiful way to heal. And I'm really all about healing in beautiful ways, because there is enough pain and ugliness out there, and our healing should be a beautiful evolution and expression and experience. And whilst, as I'm sure you have gathered, it is a very emotional way of healing, I think it is a very, very beautiful ceremonial way of transforming and healing. And you felt the force of the elements. All I can say is imagine working with them and integrating through them your future. You know, there's so little that you need to do. You just need to receive. You just need to listen. You just need to be carried and just surrender to the yin energy of this moment, of this run up to the winter solstice, which one of you have actually mentioned in the messages. And yes, we're on a big journey up until the winter solstice. So I've put the offer up. You can find out more if you are interested just by clicking the link, and it will open up. You won't lose the webinar. So we'd love to have you on board. The magic is already happening, and yes, I'm really, really excited about it, and hope you can join us if you feel called. Let the elements answer for you if you're meant to go. And like I said, we do a lot of the shadow work and energy work and things like that. So how can we connect to the elements? How can we invite them into our lives? There are several ways. Ceremony is always really powerful because, you know, ceremony, I've said this many times before, but it speaks to the parts of you that don't speak English. And the elements of your soul don't necessarily speak English. They are much older. They speak ceremony. And that's why it's so powerful. So even a simple ceremony where you light a candle and just watch it for fire can be enough. But it's about kind of honoring that space and connection between you and that element. Obviously, journeying and dimensional channeling and soul landscaping and all of this beautiful imagination things that we can do. You can also just call them. Like if you know that something needs the energy of water, for example, just call a goddess of water or mother water or grandfather fire. A more ceremonial, and I have personally found more powerful way to call is through invocation. An invocation, that is soul speak, you know, that is working with our souls, or I have discovered through my own journey, work with poetry far more than they work with left brain linear understanding. And so you can do an invocation to these energies and ask them to come and work with you and work through you, and ask them to carry you. You can also, and we're going to end with an invocation actually. You can also do a acknowledging of the elements. So if you can find where the water is in your body, it's in every cell in your body, and just even the saliva in your mouth or the tears in your eyes, just acknowledge that you are made of water. You automatically start inviting that element into your life. If you can find the fire in your eyes, the sparkle in your eyes, then you automatically start connecting to the fire. If you can find the breath through meditation running through your body, then you start connecting to the air, to the wind. And if you can find the earth in your body simply by noticing that you are sitting on the earth, simply by going and sitting on the earth, sitting with the element, you connect to them. You can listen to them simply by going to them. You can invite them in that simply. That said, with the shadow work, I would recommend that you have a midwife. Somebody's just messaged, he said, you once called Renata saying you once called yourself a midwife, and yes, I do recommend having a midwife for especially the shadow work with the elements, because it can get very, very emotional. So whilst you can always invite this power and force into your life, if you don't feel you can stay in your power, it is good to work with a shaman or a healer or a coach to really go deep into that work, because like I said, sometimes it can just come up in waves through you. I had a real release this morning working with the element of water where I was just crying, and I didn't even know why, but like so much energy was coming up through me. And until you know how to fully process that energy by yourself, it can be a bit overwhelming. And again, that's another reason to do the course, so you can be midwifed. There's so much support on Starlight courses. You kind of get lots of TLC time, and that there's always an online place where you can express yourself and be supported by the group and by me and my guides, if you do kind of unlock something. And remember that everything that comes up, every shadow that comes up, is coming up to set you free. It's coming up because it's ready to leave you, and it's ready to transform, and it's ready to change. Our shadows are simply, to put it most simply, shadow energy is energy that we have not allowed to change, that we have not allowed to transition, that we have not allowed to have move. And that's why it's gone into shadow, because it was trying to move, it was trying to change, it was trying to be expressed, and we didn't let it. And instead we buried it or hid it or ran from it or suppressed it, and it's gone into hiding, essentially. And what the elements do is they give us the strength and the courage and the freedom and the wisdom to express it without being sucked into the victimness and into the story of it. And so, anything that stops you being a victim is good in my book. Because the world needs warriors. The world needs fearless warriors that only know how to be warriors and don't know how to be victims. And I'll give you an example of this invocation. So we're going to do the invocation for air from the course. And again, come into your yin. So just close your eyes. Feel the muscles. Oh, and by the way, after this invocation, I'm going to give you one more little gift that you can tune into the elements with. And so just close your eyes. And not being in the medicine wheel now, simply being in the room, just acknowledge the air in the room, the air in your lungs. Acknowledge the air and open your heart to the air of your soul and see what you see. Feel what you feel. Sink into the experience, into the yin of the experience. And let the words carry you to a deeper connection with air. grandfather air, air of my soul, many winged ones of air, come to me now as I breathe out. Teach me what is beyond my breath. Show me how to swoop into the veils of my mind. Spiral me up through the constellations of time to that bird's eye view where I can watch my dead leaf stories, crumpled tear tissues fall as you blow across my plains of thought. May all be liberated as I breathe in. Carry me naked upon the winds of intuition to new horizons of being. Fly me wingtip to wingtip with the cosmos through the gateways of freedom so that I can find my own divine. And just notice if you have a deeper experience of air through honoring the invocation. Notice if you feel more connected to your breath, to the air, to the landscape of air. And breathing in love and breathing out gratitude. Breathing in love and breathing out gratitude. I would love to hear from you how the invocation felt. You know, for me, invocations, there's a ceremonialness, a ceremonial magic that runs through them, and when we use them in courses and journeys, it's like the land and the elements in this case hear us, and they reach deeper than intentions. They reach deeper than into our subconscious and into the subconscious of the elements, and it's like they unite us. And of course, on the course we will have all of the invocations. There will be meditations and ceremonies that you can optionally do to stay connected to the elements through in between the webinars. And essentially you can just be carried doing whatever feels right for you in the moment. So I would like to say thank you all so much. You've been an incredibly energized and beautiful group. I kind of really felt all of you, and you've been so committed to this journey and committed to yourself. And I want to say that, you know, whenever we commit to ourselves, that's really where that's half the work. That's where the magic of change begins. I've pulled a card for the group, and it is initiation. So maybe for some of you, this is an initiation into your work with the elements. Thank you. So Carmen saying beautiful. It took me much deeper. Yeah, the elements, the invocations really do take you deeply. It's amazing. I just want you to come back, tune in. I'm going to end. Some of us are more visual than others, so I thought I'd play the little video that me and Kath made about the element of water to close. Thank you all so much. You've been amazing. May you be carried by the elements always. I'll play this video. How can water create change in your life? Water is everywhere. She rolls through all landscapes, birthing all of life as she flows. She is a master of the movement and rhythms of change. Her free-falling force causes land and rock to bend and bow to her will. Come closer, search. As outside, so inside. Water cycles through the landscapes of your soul, carrying the course of your destiny. Come closer, listen to Mother Water, for here in your soul space she will speak and teach you how the graceful, mighty expression of your truth can carve your path. Come closer, feel. Together she and you cannot stay still. Together you move tidally through throes of light and emotion to where you are meant to be. Upon the waves of the waters of you, the waters of your soul, you float and discover that you are deeper, vaster and freer than all that stands in the way of change.